Dear students, I am Dr. Manas Kumar Das, lecturer in history, Dinakrishna College, Jaleshwar, Baleshwar. Today we will discuss about the syllabus of Indian history, the periodization of which belongs to 1750 to 1857 AD. In the cover page, I have given the two photographs. The first one showing the Battle of Plassey, and the second one is the Great Sepoy Mutiny. The Indian history of this period from 1750 to 1857 is keeps great importance, as because in 1757 with the Battle of Plassey, the British rule in India was established, and in 1857 with the Great Sepoy Mutiny, the East India Company handed over its power to the British Crown. So anyway, let us discuss about the syllabus of this paper. In Unit 1, you do have India in the mid 18th century, society, economy and polity. The mid 18th century Indian history witnessed the period of insecurity and decline in all walks of national life. The death of Aurangzeb in 1707 AD created political instability, which had its long-term influence on the social, economic, religious, cultural and political life of the people of India. There was chaos and confusion, having no authority, no law, no security, no administration in most parts of Indian territory. On the other hand, the Europeans, particularly the British and the French, had penetrated into the political scenario of India, taking the advantage of political disturbance in the country. Both of them took interest in Indian politics. The British East India Company, which had already made its policy, wanted to wipe out the French. It became successful in establishing its control over India and became the supreme power of the land. During this period, India entered into the slavery of the British Raj. By this time, the Marathas had achieved fame, and independent states like Bengal, Awadh and Hyderabad were established. Due to political turmoil, lawlessness was the order of the day. However, during this critical period, the social, political and economic condition of India was very precarious. So in this Unit 1, we will learn about the different aspects of the society, about the economic condition of India in mid 18th century and about the polity of India. What is the political condition of India during this period? In Unit 2, you do have expansion and consolidation of power. In Chapter 1, you do have foreign trade and early forms of exactions from Bengal. So as we know, with the establishment of British colonial rule or British Empire in India with the Battle of Plassey, the British government tried to expand its territory either through diplomacy or through conquest. So as we know, the British had came to India in the name of trade and commerce, but taking the mileage of the political disturbance in India, they started capturing power by hook or crooks in different parts of the India and established the British supremacy in our land. This started with the Bengal, particularly this expansion started with the Bengal in 1757, and then it spread to Mysore, Awadh and Punjab. By conquering these parts of India, the British became more strengthened and resourceful in capturing different parts of India, and in process they conquered the whole of India. In Unit 3, you do have the colonial state and ideology. In Chapter 1, we have the arms of the colonial state, army, police and law. So, in colonial state, when they established colony in India by capturing different parts of India and capturing the power, they established their own ideology, their own policies and rules and regulations in our country. So, in order to give good administration, in order to control India, they started implementing the rules and regulations, particularly in army. They established police and law system in India. In Chapter 2, you do have the ideologies of the Raj and the racial attitudes. As you know that they had their own ideologies. The British ideologies they wanted to establish in our land, and they actually they hate our Indian people as because we are black. They considered them considered ourselves or considered the Indians as half Negroes, half gorilla, black, etc. And in Chapter 3, we do have education, indigenous and modern. As we already know that the Indian system of education was based on traditional system of education, which was given in the Pathshalas, in tolls, Sanskrit tolls, in somewhere in places of temples, and also by the Jamindars or rich persons in their own way, particularly in private tuitions. But with the coming of the British and their rule in India, particularly the modern education started in 1835 with the establishment of modern education, particularly during the period of Lord Macaulay. Macaulay introduced English education in India, and with this started the modern education in India. In Unit 4, you have economy and society. In economy and society, in Chapter 1, we will discuss about the land revenue systems, that was the permanent settlement or Jamindaris pratha or system. We do have Rayatwari and Mahalwari. In Chapter 2, that is commercialization of agriculture and consequences. Commercialization of agriculture means deviation from the traditional agriculture system. Deviation of agriculture means traditional agriculture means that people of India were cultivating corns like rice, wheat, etc. So these were the traditional corns that the Indian agriculturists or farmers produced. But the English introduced commercial or economically motivated agriculture, that is the agriculture of sugar canes, rubber, tea, then neem or indigo So this kind of the agriculture ruined the Indian farmers and benefited the English masters. So it had a very bad impact on Indian agriculture system. In the chapter 3, we will discuss about the drain of wealth, causes and consequences. Drain of wealth means the British took away all the wealth from India, and in return they didn't give anything to us. So there were several causes, and it had very bad consequences on Indian economy and society of India. Anyway, in chapter 4 we will discuss about the growth of modern industry, how the British developed modern industries for their own benefit. Actually, the industries they established, it was for their financial benefit and as well as for their convenience of administration. Anyway, so we will discuss about that. In chapter 5, we will find popular resistance, causes and consequences. As a matter of policy of as a matter of British policies, which were intolerant, which was exploitative in nature, people from all walks of life started revolting against the British government or the British Raj. So in this connection, as I was telling, that they were exploitative in nature, so they imposed several taxes starting from needle to sieve. So this was not tolerated by the Indians. The Indians, from kings and queens to the common man, they raised their voices. Even the tribals who were the peace loving people, they also started a revolution against the British. And in this connection we will discuss about the Santal uprising, how the Santals revolted against the British in 1856-57 with the leadership of Sidhu and Kanu. And we will find also the Indigo rebellions, how the indigo cultivators revolted against their masters in 1860 as the masters exploited the indigo cultivators in several ways. So they revolted against that. And in chapter 2 we will discuss about the Pabna agrarian leagues. As I was telling, that the British imposed several taxes which was not tolerable by the Indian people. So people in general and particularly the agriculturists, farmers, they revolted against the British. Then the Deccan riots, which occurred in 1875, we will discuss about that. In chapter 3, we will discuss about the great movement of 1857, causes and consequences. And in this, this was the pinnacle of all the revolts since the establishment of British Empire in India. The British Empire, which was established in 1757, and the Great Revolt which occurred in 1857, it took 100 years. During these 100 years, the British exploited the people starting from king to the common man. So all were frustrated with the British system of administration. So in this context, in this revolt of 1857, the Sepoys, who were humiliated, neglected, tortured and exploited by the British army, the Indian Sepoys started revolting against the British government, and although it became a failure, but the lessons the British government got from this revolt was tremendous. The power which was laid in the hands of the British East India Company was handed over to the British Crown, and the British Parliament became the ruler or the key person to rule over India. And this is all about your syllabus. In the next video, we will discuss one by one of different chapters. Thank you all.